All right, what's up, everybody? About to do the watch list video for you guys for Monday. I already have the watch list built, so it'll probably be a shorter video here for you guys. And we'll get started in a couple moments. All right, so let's take a look here at the futures. If you guys can see right here, you can see, excuse me, futures is kind of in the middle or at the top of a rising wedge pattern. So you can see a rising wedge pattern at all-time highs. So you can see it kind of just broke all-time highs here the other day or yesterday, past couple days actually, right above that 29.57 area. And now it's kind of giving you this, if you want to call it like a shooting star pattern right up here. So again, price is moving up, all-time highs at resistance levels at the top of a rising wedge. So this is a possible reversal coming. Possible. Doesn't mean it will. Remember, if you're new, you got to realize the stock market shows you, all these very important support and resistance levels. But the problem is most new traders come in and they don't take the time to study candle patterns. And if you don't know patterns, you don't know like, oh, okay, this is a rising wedge, or this is a bull flag, or this is a shooting star pattern at resistance. If you don't know those things, then you're going to get caught and be like, oh, like what happened to the market today? The market, excuse me, the market fell. I don't know why. Or, why did the market break out, or any of those things. Remember, a lot of times these candlesticks happen on the days of news, but this stuff has been happening even beforehand. So, many people think, oh, the market just kind of goes up or down just based upon a news day. Well, if they pay attention, there's clues why the market is going to go up or down ahead of time. There's buyers and sellers that are doing things before these things happen, before this news breaks out, which leaves these trails and these candlestick patterns. So if you're new and you come in and be like, oh, the market just takes my money, or, oh my gosh, why did the market fall? Any of those things, you would get those clues. You would understand when you zoom out and you can see these patterns overall in the market. All of these candlestick patterns are very, very important clues. And this is the stuff we teach you guys within our community, right? We teach you what these candlestick patterns mean, how to trade them, what to look for, have our watch list over here, all of that good stuff. So I want to bring your attention over here. If you're like, what the heck is he talking about with candlestick patterns and all that stuff? Well, if you come over to our website here, we have a couple free candlestick patterns in our ebook. Make sure, if you want to learn about patterns, this candlesticks are the kind of really the source to everything with understanding these patterns. Because if you can understand these patterns, then you can understand these patterns overall in a bigger overall chart, draw your trend lines, and then when you see these smaller candlestick patterns within the bigger overall pattern, then you can, trade accordingly. All right. So not saying the market's going to fall. Again, you can see it is a little bit overextended. It is farther away from these moving average lines. It is at resistance. So there's a chance it could pull back to the moving average lines. It could completely fail out of this and really fall down, or it could break out. If it breaks out, you want to see it hold this 2960-ish level and then be very, very, very aware of 3,000. 3,000 will be incredible resistance level, that huge psychological whole number. If this breaks out, be very well aware that it probably will reject at some point at 3,000, and then 3,000, if it can break above that, that would become a very important support level. And then you can see these support levels on the way down. Again, we teach you all this stuff in our community, in our courses, live every day, in our trade runs. We do live streaming, all that good stuff. So I want to draw your attention again. We've been stressing this a lot lately. If you're new to day trading, you know, we're actually going to be launching a penny stocks course. We have a day trading course, but more of a penny stocks course probably in the next week or two. And it's really going to delve into how to trade our watch list, what to look for, and you know, doing day trading in general. But we want to draw your attention to these, to right over here, this shares area. This is shares outstanding within Thinkorswim. It's a little bit higher than float, but it's a pretty good gauge for float. The lower the float, below 20 million and even 10 million, the lower the float, the higher the volatility. So the more the stock will potentially pump and then dump. The higher the float, you know, when you get near 100 million or more, let me go to right here. So the higher the float, you know, over 100 million, 200 million, that's really higher. So that means it's going to move slower, less pumping, less dumping. When you see like something like this, 802,000 shares, if I click on CTRV, you'll see this thing is just super volatile, you know, pumps and then dumps right back down. And obviously, you know, look at the chart on something like this. So you look at CTRV, let's take a look at, I mean, this is a penny stock for, well, that's a bad example. Let's see if there's a better one over here. GNW. So you can see GNW, it's still a crappy looking chart trading sideways, but you can see it's just kind of more of, you know, there is more of an ebb and flow rather than like, again, take a look at CTRV, your typical penny stock low floater, just all the way down, and then it just gets these pops along the way. So I want to draw your attention to our watch list, because you'll see when we do our watch list, I already have it kind of set for Monday right now. Look at these. They're a lot of medium to higher float stocks. These are not going to be on a lot of people's radars come Monday. So everybody's radar on Monday, they're going to look at what's happening on Trade Ideas, the low floaters. They're going to look at the top. I mean, this is what's going to happen. Every chat room on the planet's going to look at every low float stock, the top 3 to 5 that are moving on Trade Ideas. And then they're going to build their watch list on that. And then when the market opens, it's going to be a battle between the bulls and the bears fighting for those same 3 stocks, hitting Trade Ideas that are low float. And then people are going to go in and scalp their, you know, 10, 15 cents, right? Angel, you're funny, CTRV. Now, we're not hating on low floaters whatsoever. You know, I mean, again, we are huge proponents of teaching and trading all types of trading styles. We teach you how to trade them. But if you're new, we highly advise not getting all caught up in the low floaters, because you have to be able to trade patterns first. You got to be able to know patterns and trade them. And on low floaters, the patterns pump and dump really quickly, and it doesn't give you a lot of time to trade them. So ideally, you want to get a good daily breakout, a good 5-minute chart setup, and then look for your entry on a 1-minute. On the low floaters, you don't really get a lot. It's very rare, or it's not common to get a really good chart on a 5-minute. You can, you know, it just, if you do, you got one tiny little entry, and then it's kind of done. So again, we are still huge proponents of trading them. However, you have to know how to trade them first. So if you want to see and do, you know, low floater stuff like that, we do post Trade Ideas gappers right here every morning. But I want to draw your attention to our watch list. We do a day trade watch list every day. This is basically kind of like a daily watch list that you can do day trade, momentum trades. You can even turn it into a swing trade watch list as well. But you'll see the stocks range anywhere from penny stocks up to over $10, up to $20. And you're going to see there's medium floaters with here. And what I want to draw your attention to is the patterns that come with these watch lists. And if you notice, Friday, again, it's very challenging to trade on Fridays a lot of times, especially when the market's at resistance. But what you guys can do, and I'll just show you an example right here, is just take a chart setup, like take our watch list and put it to something like this. Have a a split screen setup on it like this. And I want to show you guys this. There we go. kind of zoom in. Let me do this, get rid of these drawings. Nope, there we go. And then let me just clear this drawing. Set over here. Okay. Oops, sometimes Thinkorswim is very finicky with my charts. Okay, so why am I drawing your attention to this right over here? These are our ones that were on our watch list going from Thursday night into Friday. And I show you these because if you look at these, they all have pattern. This is all a 5-minute chart setup, which means there are patterns that are clearly showing on these charts. Look right here. So you can see right here in the morning, GBTC had a beautiful looking symmetrical triangle. Here's your 5-minute chart setup. At 10:50, you had a 5-minute candle right here. You could have gotten at a break of that 1330 level. And then you have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You almost have a half hour to decide whether you're going to take your profits. And that 1330 up to, 1350s, 60s, that's 30 cents or so. You could say, big deal. Well, hey, if you're using your account on leverage, if you had 1,000 shares and you got 20 to 30 cents, that's $200 to $300. That is a big deal, right? So you can see there was a really nice symmetrical triangle breakout right there in a 5-minute chart setup. So you could literally have just our watch lists up on a 5-minute setup, not even look at any type of scanner whatsoever, and just look for patterns, right? Look over here, CVM. Here is a nice cup pattern. You can see a clearly defined top. So here is a cup right here. So cup, pull back, and then look at this. Handle. So right here, if you decided you could have got in, if you wanted to, right around one of these areas here, 780 or so, and then scalped up to, 790, 795, 10, 15 cents. I'm showing you this because when you're day trading, you're trying to scalp 10, 15, 20 cents, stuff like that, right? And you want patterns. You're not going to find them very, very often on 5-minute setups on low floaters. But you can see right here, symmetrical triangle. Right here, you can see cup and handle. Right over here, you can see another one where it's kind of a top right over in here for EGO. Forms a cup, kind of a handle. Didn't do much of anything until later during the day. So sometimes, again, let these patterns form and you'll see kind of a cup, a sideways handle. Then, you had a little bit of a breakout here, came back down, and then it kind of went and broke out right over here towards the end of the day. So if you just kind of left the chart up all day long, you can see, okay, there was a nice little breakout towards the end of the day to scalp potentially 20 cents there. You guys see this? Cup, handle, cup, handle. And then overall at the end of the day, then you can kind of then connect your trend lines and find things like, just kind of connect your peaks and your valleys kind of in here. And then it kind of see you have overall what happens is you can kind of define your your overall uptrend, downtrend, and then the patterns within the overall pattern, right? Over here with CDE, another one, kind of a cup pattern right here, and then boom, kind of a handle back right over in here. Cup, handle, then it kind of goes and breaks out a little bit. Again, sometimes, now you can say, well, that only went up 411 to 417, big deal. Well, first of all, if you go back over and you actually look over on Thinkorswim, you would realize that CDE, if I go pull up CDE, let's put it down here for right now. CD is a very, very high float. This is telling you right here, if CDE breaks out, it's probably not going to break out very high because it's super high float. So you would have already known this if you took a trade just by strictly looking at the float. If it's medium float, you might get a good pop. If it's lower float, it'll be a better pop. And then if it's a super high float, then it's probably going to be a slower grind, right? So you would have seen that ahead of time. So I draw your attention to this, very, very important, because you could just literally have a 5-minute chart set up, take our watch list, let these patterns form. And then, ADMS, that was kind of a dud. There was a lot of gaps within there, but you can see cup and handles throughout the day, cup and handles. I can kind of draw my trend lines here, right? Kind of just connect these levels right in here. So I can clearly define the trend. I can see these patterns within the patterns, and then I can take these little scalps when price holds the 9 EMA right here, down here on a 5-minute chart. Right here, shows a pattern, breaks out, take my profits. Come back down, maybe take an entry again, take my profits. Price is kind of riding the 9 on up here, kind of a cup handle breakout at the end of the day. Maybe I take a scalp right here, 523, and then decide to take my profits at the end of the day. But the problem is, so this is our watch list. Our watch list fires off like crazy all day, every day. Usually, typically, if we have 5 on a watch list, 1 or 2 will be really good each day. And then a couple will be kind of somewhat okay. But if you look right here, just to show you guys the contrast, look at a 5-minute chart on, a low float stock like CTRV. It's garbage all day long. Where's the entries on a 5-minute suck? If you look at, let's take a look at AXGT. Another one. Here is your kind of low float 5-minute chart. The chart's terrible. Now you could say, why is that? It's because everybody's looking at it. It hits scanners like Trade Ideas. It's a low float stock. Everybody in the world is looking at it, and that's why it's just this constant battle. We take you on our watch list away from the herd and give you the ability to scalp your 10, 15, 20 cents in a slower, more methodical way, and you can look at these patterns and see them and not have to chase the herd. Hopefully this is making sense to you guys. If it is, let us know. We're teaching you how to trade and day trade, slowing it down, looking at patterns in a much safer way. And when you are more comfortable, then you go and you trade the low floaters. You would just, instead of having a 5-minute setup, you'd trade it on a 1-minute setup, all right? Just a lot quicker. So let me just show you here. I've already kind of pre-built the watch list. I thought this was going to be a quicker video, but I was just trying to teach you guys in this one. Hopefully it's helping you guys. So you'll see TURV. We have a penny stock. So we do have, well, this is kind of a medium float penny stock. You'll see right here kind of a bigger overall cup. And you can see kind of a handle coming down over here, kind of coming back down into kind of down here. It kind of broke out. Now you want to see if this will continue up again and see if this one can break out above that 64 cents area. If so, it might have a chance to pump. So that's why I put, again, we try to have a healthy mix of penny stocks up to ones between $10 to $20. So if you want to trade a penny stock and you look at this one, if this one can break out above 63 cents, it might have a chance to pump up, in this 80s, area or above. Next up, WKHS. Another one you can see kind of a medium float stock right here. Another kind of cup and handle-ish pattern. And you can see if you zoom in, so kind of a cup and handle here, but now if you zoom even further in, another kind of cup and handle-ish here. And if you look at this one, if this one can get above 274 and break out above 274, watch for resistance around $3 and $3.27. So I show you this because, again, probably not many people will be watching this one on Monday. It probably won't have a lot of volume during the pre-market, so nobody's going to be paying attention to it. They'll all be looking at the low floaters on Trade Ideas. And then this one might take a little bit to develop, but if it does, and if it can get above 280, first of all, 273, that's a potential to move 27 cents to the first level of major resistance at $3. If there's a good pattern on a 5-minute setup and it holds, let's say, this kind of cup and handle pattern, if it can get above 274, if resistance is at $3 and that's 26-cent move, if you try to scalp 10 or 15 cents out of that 26 cents and get out, you can stay completely away from the herd. And you might have a few minutes to be able to stay in that trade looking at a 5-minute setup. Whereas With trade ideas or the low floaters at hitting it, you might have 5 seconds, 10 seconds to get out. I'm telling you guys, if you just take these right here, put them on a 5-minute chart, I would bet money 1 or 2 is going to have a really good setup, probably before 11:30, just trading a 5-minute chart setup, and then you can come back between the hours of 2 to 4 o'clock and watch which ones, look at the patterns, and watch for possible breakouts at the end of the day. You literally could just take our watch list, never look at a scan ever, and just trade 5-minute setups and the patterns that we teach you in our courses and scalp 10, 15, 20 cents like clockwork. So hopefully you guys are really paying attention to this. Again, you can see the patterns right here. If it breaks out of this handle, $3. And then if it can get above $3 and hold, then it's got some room up to that 327 area. Next up, let's look at OSTK. This was overstock.com. Look at this piece of garbage. This thing used to be up to 90 bucks all the way down to, what is it now? Like 11 bucks or something like that. So look at this one. So typically I like ones that have a little bit better of a pattern that's kind of high wave-ish, but it's a little bit bigger, a little bit bulkier, right below the 50 SMA. Why did I put this one on? It's gotten buried. Pinching moving average lines. If it can get above that pink line, that is the 50 SMA. It might have some room to go. Yes, Dan, right? He said, like he says, patterns, beeps, right? So I show here pinching moving average lines, a stock at around $11, $11.57. If it can get above that 50 SMA, look right here on a 5-minute chart, I have a potential bull pennant. Right here on a 1-hour chart, what do you see? Here's a bull pennant on an hour that looks like it might be trying to break out. Another bull pennant on a 5-minute. And then right here on a daily, you can see pinching moving average lines, stocks getting buried, may want to reverse and get above the 50 SMA. So you have a few potential bullish patterns that might want to go and break out on a stock, let's say 11.57. So if you have a smaller account and you're like, oh man, I want to trade the cheaper ones like the penny stocks, stuff like that. Well, what are you trying to do? If you're trying to scalp 10 or 15 cents or something like that, buy less shares of a bigger stock like this, So if you get, I'm terrible with math. Let me just get a calculator here. If you took, let's say 11.57, so 11.57 times 100 shares, right? That's $1,157. If it moved 10 cents times 0.10, you made $115. Do you guys see what I'm trying to show you guys? So if you tried to go and chase, so to show you that again, if overstock.com moved up just 10 cents and you only had 100 shares, you made $115, right? So if you're trying to scalp and go and do the same thing on a stock like CTRV, a low floater, and you're brand new, and you don't know how to trade, overstock.com may have allowed you to be in that trade for several minutes, if not more. Whereas something like, I'm trying to even find a good setup here for you. Just like an example, this is like a traded crazy candlestick. This thing, you got to be within, see that high wave kind of candlestick move up? That 513 to 527, that 14-cent move happened in with 1 minute, and then it crashed right back down. So if you don't know how to trade these crazy candlesticks and you're brand new, you're in and out. And so great, hey, it's $5 compared to $11. But if you put $1,000 in on this and you didn't get a great entry and get out really quick, now you're down. Forgetting being up 10 cents, you might be down 10 or 15 cents very quickly. So that's where I want to show you guys. Again, not trying to discourage you to trade the low floaters. If you're new, I am trying to discourage you to trade the low floaters until you know how to find patterns. It's all about patterns. So next up, let's look at UEPS. Why did I put this one on? So UEPS holding its highs Big green candlestick on the daily. Moving average lines are pinching, maybe wanting to cross. I put this on because you can see kind of a cup breaking out right near a whole dollar amount of $4. So very important. It's showing you $4, very important resistance level. If it can break out above $4 right here, I want to show you guys this. This is a, where is it? Right here. Here's a gap on the daily between 417 and 450. So it doesn't mean it's going to fill the gap. It may at some point. But here is one that's a medium float stock right below $4. If it can get above $4, it has room to fill a potential 50-cent gap, potentially. I'm going to watch that 5-minute chart setup. I'd probably bet money, unless it hits trade ideas. If it hits trade ideas come Monday morning, then obviously the herd goes into it. But if this stays off the radar of trade ideas, gets 2, 3, 400,000 in volume, it kind of develops a pattern and it holds $4, then if it can move up 50 cents, it might be easier to trade 5-minute candles and scalp 10, 15, 20 cents out of that 50 cents and keep you away from the herd, right? Go ahead and go to the hourly chart. And as you can see, it's a bit overextended. I'm not a huge fan of that. But, you know, if it can pull back a little bit, you can see this is where what you get to see on stocks like this is look at the bull pennant, right? Look at kind of the cup pattern that broke out. It's a bit overextended, but I can see right here, you know, support right here on this 390 at the top of this candle. It may reject back off the $4 and maybe pull back a little bit. Maybe it pulls back, lets this 9 EMA catch up. If it flags on a 5-minute and then eventually takes off, at least I can see, again, it's a medium float stock, less likely to pump and dump on you, give you a potential chance to trade it. VSTM, why did I put this one on? So VSTM, kind of another, I don't love this one as much, but look, I can see kind of a cup in handle-ish. It's holding the 50 SMA. It's a little bit closer to resistance than I'd like. So I'm not loving it as much, but I'm seeing kind of a cup and handle. If it can go and get above that 2 or 204 area, this one might have a chance to go up and fill. Actually, there is already a gap fill, but you can see the 9 and 20 crossing. If it can cross the 50, you know, let's take a look at the hourly. You know, this one's a little bit, I'm not liking this one as much. I kind of just put this one on because it's a sub $2 stock. If it can get above 205, it might have a chance to go. I try to give you guys diversity in the watch list. So we can see if it can get above that 215, 205 level, just keep an eye on it. CIFS. This is another one. So I'm a little leery of the tweezer tops on the daily. But you can see maybe the moving average line's potentially pinching right below that 50 SMA. If it can get above that 50 SMA, this is what I want to show you guys right here in a 5-minute. You can see cup and handles, right? So you can see cup and handle, that kind of that 240 level right at the top of those tweezer tops, very important. You could also see the hourly kind of cup and handle-ish. So you can see these are kind of like volatile looking cup and handles. So you can say, well, why is that? Why does that look a little bit more volatile than the other ones? Well, come look over here to shares. And if you look at shares, this is about a 20 million or less float. So what does that mean? Lower float, higher the volatility. So that's why I'm putting this one on, because it's either going to pump out and break out of that tweezer tops, or it's just going to fail. So this will give you kind of a lower float, possible breakout. Got to watch and see. So it's giving you a little bit of diversity of having that lower float on the watch list. And last up on the daily watch list would be EVH. This is kind of more of my favorite. This is one that I really like to see, right? For several reasons. A little bit higher priced stock. Kind of on the higher to medium end float, right? Stock has gotten buried. It's found support on the daily right here. It's closing right at that blue line, which is the 9 EMA. Kind of holding its highs a little bit. we'll have to see right up over in here. If it can get above that 9 EMA, you can see volume on the daily, oversold, getting buried. Come over to the hourly. It's above the moving average lines on the hourly. This thing's got some room to run. So if this 5-minute setup holds come Monday or Tuesday, right around there, this is one I absolutely love to watch because it's probably not going to be on anybody's radar. It's going to be a higher float stock, getting above the moving average lines. If it can get above that 9 EMA on the daily, right here, after it's been buried, it's got room up to that 20 EMA. There's $1 room, $1 for that thing to run, right? So if you just had a 5-minute chart setup, left this chart up come Monday on a 5-minute setup, if it can get above 850, that whole $half amount, if this thing can get above and hold 850, this thing's got room to run up a potential $1 or so to that 20 EMA, and probably hardly anybody will be watching it because everybody is following these sexy low float stocks and they want to be part of the herd, or they think they want to be part of the herd. But why go try to scalp 10 cents within 5 seconds on a stock that pumps and dumps if you don't know what you're doing, when you can come over here to a stock like EVH, it's clear what you're looking for. You want it above that 9 EMA, right above that $half amount, and then you have $1 room to go on to the next resistance level, and it's above the moving average lines on the hourly. There's so many great. This is really great. It's just telling you, get above 850, give a nice 5-minute pattern hold, and that thing again could go and run potential of $1, right? So if you bought $100 worth, right, and it moved $1, or 100 shares times $100, 100 shares times $1. Maybe I did the math wrong on the other one. 100 times 0.10. I think that I did the math wrong before on 100 shares of something. 10 cents would be $10. But okay, so just show you guys an example. If you bought 100 shares and it moved $1, that's $100. But again, if you bought, 200, you get what I'm saying, right? My math is off a little bit. Just buy a little bit less shares and just slowly grow your account. But here's a potential for one right here to really keep your eye on. That's giving you, this is my favorite probably in the entire watch list, is a stock just like this. Completely buried, oversold. If it can get above the 9 EMA, get above 850 on the hourly, it has some room right up for the potential of $1 move. And not many people will probably be watching it. All right, so hopefully that's helping you guys. Last thing I'll show you guys here is a swing trade watch list here. So you can take some of these potential and potentially swing trade them. Be careful. I'd be maybe more likely to possibly swing a stock like EVH compared to a stock like a low floater like CIFS, being a low floater with a really crappy, I'd feel safe. I'd still get leery about, why the heck is my chart doing this? I have this mouse and I scroll in and out and it gets crazy. So you can see they have similar charts, right? This complete garbage chart all the way down, just gotten buried, and it's low floater, right? And then you can see EVH. This one's kind of getting buried too, crappy looking chart. I would be more likely to swing or hold this one for a day or 2 or 3 days, something like that, than I would on this one right here because of the volatility on it. Again, so you got to know where support and resistance levels are. Those moving average lines, very important. Last up, not a huge fan of these ones right here. These are it's kind of tougher lately because the market's at resistance levels. So these are ones for kind of maybe some quick pops, maybe a quick scalp. I'm putting a INTC Intel on here. You can see kind of a rising wedge. Moving average lines are crossing here. The 20 and the 9's crossing over the 20. You can see the 20 or the 50 and the 200. These lines are pinching right here. There's a gap on the daily right around $49. So I'm looking at this one. I don't love this pattern overall. It's kind of got a possible symmetrical triangle on a 5 minute. Not a huge fan of those. Again, it's hard to kind of find some setups lately, but you can see kind of an inverted hammer off this 9 EMA at the base of a rising wedge pattern. If I go to the hourly, kind of near, you can see buyers are buying it right up here. You know, this might have some possible room anywhere between this 48 to 49 level if it can pop up a little. But that's why I put Intel on there for a possible, you know, it's got a potential, say $47.50 up to $48.50, $49. There's the potential of this to move $1 to $1.50. That's why I put that one on. It's a little bit tighter than I like, but that's why I have it on the watch list. And the other one I have on here is Williams. Angel, by the way, I sent you an email. Take a look. We'll talk about it on Monday. I look at this for several reasons. You could say, oh, this is kind of a garbage looking chart. And I would say, yeah, it is kind of a garbage looking chart. But I could say, hold on a second. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So I can see a bigger overall inverse head and shoulders. Then I zoom in here and I see, okay, another left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So I can see an inverse head and shoulders within an inverse head and shoulders. I also see the 9 and the 20 moving average line pinching. And I also see price closing above the 50. I don't like the tweezer top right there, but it's something I'm looking at it. Like maybe I'd look at this a little bit more. I can see 28.07, this area right here, resistance. If it can get above this 28.04, that could be an inverse head and shoulders breakout within a bigger inverse head and shoulders. And you can see kind of a cup and handle-ish going to the side here in a 5 minute. So you can see it's clearly showing this area. If it can get above this area, the top of that tweezer tops, this could have a little bit of room. And if I look at the hourly, you know, want to see it get above that 28 level. So that's why I put that one on. Not loving either of them. I like this Williams a little bit better than that one. But that's why I put those on the watch list. But I want to challenge you guys, if you're watching this, pay attention to our watch list videos. And I really challenge you guys. I'm so confident in watching with our watches. I bet money that if you take these ones, it's, I would say, less likely on the penny stock ones, right? I put these ones on for those that like penny stocks. But you take one like Overstock.com, EVH, I would probably bet money on one of those two stocks, if not Monday or Tuesday, that you'll get a 5 minute setup to get a good scalp on something, you know, and then maybe something like one of these medium float stocks. Maybe one of these might surprise you, like VSTM. Maybe that thing will, you know, give a potential, let's say 5 minute setup, and you go and scalp 10 cents out of it. You know, so you'll see probably on Monday, one or two of these will be really good. Another one or two will be okay. And then probably a couple will be just like false breakouts and just kind of duds. But if you just literally had just this up here and went to had a setup like this and just inputted them right here, boom, 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 right in here, and just have a 5 minute chart setup and just let the patterns form, you'll see right here, GBTC, there was your trade on Monday or on Friday at 10:50 a.m. Nice, solid pattern breakout. You know, over here at 11:10 or 11:15, right in here. So this was your good one on GBTC. Here was your okay one, 780-ish or so, up to 792. That was your okay one, right? Here was your really good one, GBTC. Here was your okay one on a 5 minute setup on CVM. Then nothing really happened. And then if you kind of came back in the afternoon, where was this, 12:30-ish or so, there was some, you know, smaller little breakouts. A handle breakout, 411 up to like that 415. Not a big deal. But remember, I told you guys, look at the float. This is a super high float one. So this would have told you if this thing breaks out, it's not going to move very far. And then towards the end of the day, if you were kind of staying in and you're just kind of watching, this allows you, here's the thing, guys, this 5 minute setup here, this allows you to be at work, to be doing something else and just having this set up, right? If you're trading the low floaters, you can't be distracted. You have to be staring at them, and you have to be in within 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 seconds. If you're trading the 5-minute setup on our watch list and you learn these patterns, you see a symmetrical triangle, you see a cup and handle, you know how to look at right here. You can even see kind of a big long bull flag back. There you go. This is the patterns you're looking for. If you allow yourself, this is, to learn these patterns and have these 5-minute setups, you can be at work, you could be at home. You can, if just looking at these 5-minute setups, you can say, okay, I'll just kind of let this sit up, stay up, glance at it a little bit. You'll see this one right here. GBTC took whatever, an hour and a half to form, right at the end of the day right here. You can just see, look at these. This 9 is over the 20 this entire time, right? The 9 is over the 20 the entire time. And there's the patterns within these overall patterns. 9's over the 20 right here. Watch for the pullback to the 9 EMA. See the 9, staying above the 20. And then you can kind of do that ride the 9 strategy. You look at Adams here, ADMS. This is when you can say, okay, this is kind of crappy. There's lots of little gaps. So you can just look at this stuff and see, okay, is there action going on? Well, there's a lot of action going on in GBTC. There's a lot of action on CVM. I can see these candles. There's lots of action right here. Kind of a cup handle pullback right here at the end of the day. Kind of a flag. Hammer right off here. Boom. Go trade that. This one took all the way to, what was that? 12. What is that? For 335. So if you were just, this one took a while. GBTC took off in the morning right before, 11 o'clock. So really good. Okay with CVM. EGO, that's a gold one. That one was really nice at the very end of the day. Adams was a dud. And CDE was just kind of like that's just a super slow grinder. And it was, So I bet, again, come Monday, you put these stocks that I just showed you on this watch list in a watch list Monday on a 5-minute chart. I'd bet money one of them by the time 11:30 comes around is going to have a really nice move. Another one will probably be okay. A couple will be kind of duds, and then you come back between 2 to 4 o'clock after these patterns have formed, and you'll probably have another 1 or 2 breakouts. And this keeps you completely away from the herd. You can have a 5-minute setup. Look, these are patterns, right? I have uptrends. I can look at the 9 and the 20. Look, it's riding the 9 and the 20. This one's crappy because that didn't do anything. This one has the 9 above the 20, 9 above the 20. Then it's kind of, you can see GBTC. That's the Bitcoin one, very volatile. That's why there was lots of trading on that one. All right. So this was not a shorter video. I thought it was going to be, but I think Angel and Dan gave me the energy today. I see them on there. So hopefully this helped you and taught you guys. So this is where I want to draw your attention to, guys. Again, on our website, bullishbears.com. Make sure you bookmark our watch list pages over here. This is where we post our day trade watch list right in here. So if you click on it right here, you will see our daily watch list right here. And we post it right in here. So here's our watch list. Once the date changes, I'll put Mondays in here. You'll see it change right in here. And then you come up over to the alert section, the trade alert setups. And, I'm not logged in. I thought I was logged in. And once you're logged in, you'll see our trade alert setups right here. And this shows you everything I just showed you on those alerts I just created in Thinkorswim. We post them right here. So all you need to do, guys, each day, if you're brand new to day trading, stay away from the low floaters. Don't trade them until you know how to know patterns. Take our watch list each night. Upload them into a brokerage account like Thinkorswim or Interactive Brokers. We have 2 free courses right over here. Ones that have a really good virtual trading account. So take our watch list, input them into a really good virtual brokerage account. Come and try us out. Join our day trade room over in here. And again, take also too, I would encourage, have the trade ideas gappers. We post the low floaters in here. So if you want to practice trading them, take the top couple. You'll see we go over them in the morning when we do our live streams each day. You can take our low floaters, the couple that we post some trade ideas, take our watch list, throw them into that chart setup like I showed you here, right here when Think or Swim. You could also have a 9 chart setup. Watch the 5 minutes. I'll guarantee you'll see much better 5-minute chart setups than you will with our watch list than you will on trade ideas. And then just watch and look for these patterns in the right setups. And ask questions in our trade room, talk to people in our trade room, watch us trade live. But again, if you're new, do not trade with real money until you know how to paper trade, which we teach you again in our courses right up here on our website. So if also too, we do real-time trade alerts. We do them with our options. So with higher cap, larger cap stocks. So if you want to follow our trade alerts with options, you can come join us right up over here, and there's the details right up under this real-time trade alerts. And if you're like, what the heck are options? Well, great news. We have an options course here, an advanced options course coming next week. And then we have a whole other next level training library that tells you all the different strikes to buy and all of that good stuff. So hopefully this video helped you guys. If you're not a member yet, you can come and join us below. And you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Enjoy.